Hey, it's Trixie. Welcome to the underground. Just a little bit of info before we get started and all this crap that we're all going through. I'm very calm, but I'm going to get crazy quickly. Okay, so you guys know I went to the doctors, right? So they took, I thought they were just checking my liver because of the drugs I'm on. You know, it affects your liver. Everything affects everything, right? They come back and they tell me my vitamin D level is at 8. I told my mother, she started yelling at me. I'm like, what do you want me to do? I asked when they called me the next morning like I was dying. And I said, what is it? Am I going to like walk around and all of a sudden all my limbs are going to come off? I mean, what's going to happen? Am I close to rickets? So they got me on like, I don't know, 100,000 IUs, whatever you call it. Yeah, so I got to be on vitamin D. Big deal. I'm old. What do you want? Did my last home show. Okay. It was 32 degrees. Okay. So my boss, my manager doesn't tell me that we're going to be freezing. I said, is it indoors? He said, yeah. We go in there and it's a barn. It's a barn. That's not really indoors to me because the barn door was open. It was 32 degrees. I couldn't feel my feet. Thank God the lady across from me had pity on me and she gave me a heater, but I swear I was close to frostbite. It was horrible. It's over. Thank God it's over. All right. So I found out that Bill Maher went to Washington to visit Trump, brokered by Kid Rock as the peacemaker. And I had to find this out from my sister, The Rose Report. I didn't find out any other way because he didn't talk about it till after the fact on his show. You know how that goes. So the night before, Bill Maher went to dinner with him. Trump said he didn't like the idea. Of course, he's so tough, like in his tweets and stuff. And then he called him a deranged asshole. Sorry to swear. My mother gets mad at me because I'm swearing. But I'm just quoting. So he said, Bill Maher actually had nice things to say about him. He said he's not as nutty as he seems. Not as crazy as he appears on TV. And I heard that anyway before, that when you talk to him, he's very charming and likable. So is it an act? But the things that he does, so I'm going by his administration, the way they act, it's not nice. So I'm going to just go with his public persona. And maybe he was on his best behavior. But let's just go with it. Because my sister says I'm biased. Anyway, he says he's different in person. I wrote all this down. He laughs. Okay, yeah, most people laugh. He signed all the insults that Trump said about him. Bill Maher asked for his signature to sign all these insults. He got a tour of the White House, including, where Bill Clinton and Monica, Trump said he lost the 2020 election, which he'll never admit to. Much more self-aware in private. Looked him in the eye and listened to him. I guess Kid Rock warned, you're going to have to talk because you're going to have to break it up and interrupt him because he's never going to stop talking. He asked Bill Maher what he thought about stuff. Of course he's going to do, and then he's going to do what he wants. That's what he does. Yep, I'm listening. Yeah, and I'm going to do what I want. And then when Bill contradicted something that he said, there was no issues. I'm telling you, this guy they must have put him on pills or something. And then Bill Maher said he approved of the Iran deal that Obama brokered because Iran stopped making nukes. You know what? Israel would have stopped it anyway because, I don't know, I remember in radio I was reading about how the nuclear scientists that Iran had, Mossad, the Israelis had Mossad go by on motorcycles and just blow them away. So I didn't have any, I didn't think they were going to do it. He said DEI, so this is what they agreed on. DEI went too far. Gaza could be Dubai. The border had to be fixed. Like normal people think the border had to be fixed. And Jerusalem should be the capital. Bill Maher's half Jewish. So, okay. And also said trans men shouldn't be in women's sports. So, he also said, oh, that's so funny because, you know how remember Bill Maher he said, Trump, prove you're not an orangutan. And then Trump sued him. He was joking because of Obama's birth certificate. So Trump just blew out, my father wasn't an orangutan. But actually, Bill Maher said his mother, so it wasn't his father. And Trump said, I love my father. Which, okay, we get you. And, he said that he was like, Glinda the Good Witch. The public guy's a lunatic. The private guy is Glinda the Good Witch. So all in all, pretty good thing. And then Steve Bannon came on the show. Okay, so Bill Maher asked him how prison was. And then, listen, Steve Bannon is a force to be reckoned with. He's very intelligent, and he appears, because he speaks calmly, and, what crazy stuff comes out of his mouth. There's crazier people than him. He was in Danbury Prison, which is, I'm in Mass, that's Connecticut. And Bill Maher asked if he met any nice men. And then did the Aryan Brotherhood give him extra food? And then Bannon said, what are you, soft? Because he heard him, what he said about Trump. He said, one visit to the White House and all of a sudden you're soft. And Bill said, well, you're the one who just got out of prison. And then he said, they were talking about, political persecution. And then Bill Maher said, well, you started lock her up. And then he went off and said Hillary should be locked up. And then Bill was like, yeah, we disagree on that. And then Bill Maher pulled out the Constitution. I think you should read this because, of course, he's endorsing Trump for president again in 2028. And, he read Amendment 22, no elected officials shall serve a third term, blah, blah, blah. And he says, we're working on it, of course. And he's saying he's going to be elected. And then Bill Maher said, what about Obama? And he said, Obama lost a step. And then Steve Bannon said, well, what about, I think your best bet would be, oh God, why can't I think of his name now? I can't think of his name. The guy that's on General Hospital. Why can't I think of his name? Let me Google it. And Steve something, but I can't remember. What is wrong with my brain? Too much working. And, I'm thinking this third term business, Stephen A. Smith. My brain just got back to me. And he said he's considering the run. I just think that things have to be pretty bad. You've got Celebrity Apprentice guy, and then you've got ESPN guy and General Hospital actor. I mean, I like the guy. I'd rather have Mark Cuban run, to be honest with you. If we're going to pick a celebrity, let's pick him. And Bannon was saying that, well, Maher asked him if Trump was ever wrong. And he says, I don't always agree with him. And then Bill Maher's like, Trump's watching because you disagree with Trump once and you're done. Trump signed an executive order to make America's showers great again. So he's pulling out all the stops. We're worried about the economy tanking. And he says that he takes a shower for 15 minutes and no water's coming out. I just took a shower and I was fine. My water pressure's fine over here. I don't think, I'm going to destroy the economy, but we're going to make sure that we all can take a shower. This is where he's nuts. I'm sorry. But what are you going to do? The anti-Trump signs from protesters. IKEA has better cabinets. We are all the couch now for JD. But it was the Gulf of Mexico at birth. Supercalifascist, racist, sexist, Nazi POTUS. But I tell you, some of these protesters are very creative. I like it. Oh, and People Magazine. Let me get off politics for a minute. People are saying I'm too political. Jessica Simpson drinks snake sperm. I don't even drink real sperm. Are you crazy or what? No, I don't think so. I don't like snakes and I don't like sperm. So I don't think so. Elon has dropped Doge's savings goal from $2 trillion. So the people that think they're getting their $5,000, think again, to $150 billion. It's probably going to be a lot lower than that for the first year. So yeah, good luck with your checks. And we knew this wasn't happening anyway. Trump was golfing while Rome burned, and he's disconnected from humanity, his own. Elon called Trump's top trade advisor, Peter Navarro, a dumber than a sack of bricks, a moron. A GOP senator says, whose throat do I get to choke if this is wrong on his tariffs? And I read this morning, hedge fund guys are freaking out. They're saying it's not just the tariffs. It's the fact that we are the greatest nation, but we owe so much money. We have so much debt. It's everything. It could be more pandemics. It could be everything that's going to lead us into a catastrophe. And look who's leading us. That's the problem. So Peter Navarro says, I guarantee no recession. I don't trust him. I'm sorry. John Tobacco. My sister loves this guy, and Jon Stewart was talking about him. He said, it's like you have to get a colonoscopy. This is what John Tobacco said. Yeah, don't remind me. I'm getting one in a couple months. It's like you have to get a colonoscopy. You need a full colonic and you'll feel better. My sister watches Newsmax. I know these guys. Not all of them. I knew the old guys. Peter Ruddy. I guess he's okay. He owns Newsmax. But I think Steve Bannon used to, right? Okay, that shows you where they're at. Trump pissed off China. He's not backing down. So as of this moment, I don't know if it's changed. So I had to keep writing down. The tariffs went from 104% on China to 125% and then to 145%. No Nikes for me. So China hiked it to 125%. People at the ports are like, what's going on? They don't know what's going on. What's got tariffs? What doesn't got tariffs? Oh, I'm getting whiplash. So China, of course, they don't want to be bullied. They hold our debt. They're going to drop the treasuries. Good luck. Not that I'm on China's side. I think we should have fought this decades ago. The night Trump had the deadline for China, China and Japan began dumping the bonds. And then once he started selling our debt, Trump, well, at least he smartened up. I got to give him credit. He said, we'll give it 3 months. So I think he's kind of teasing and thinking he can yank their chains. But unfortunately, to quote Trump himself, you don't hold the cards. You don't have the cards, as he said to Zelensky. A reporter asked how we can trust him if he keeps changing his mind. And he says, sometimes you have a wall. You're going to go through the wall. You can't go through the wall, so you go under the wall. Really? You go under a wall or around the wall? You go under a wall? Does anybody think he's sane anymore? I don't know. His analogies, he should just not talk. I don't know. So the average Apple assembly person in China makes $500 a month. In this country, an Apple employee who focuses on design, store management, makes $200,000. Oh, yeah. Who's going to work for $500 a month? Who's going to work for $500 a month? Gen Z? I don't think so. They're one of the largest holders of mortgage-backed securities, China is. So if they dump these, and Japan was doing it also, and then Canada follows, everybody follows, mortgage rates rise, this is how it works. People are already spooked. I see it and hear it every day. I'm talking to hundreds and hundreds of people every day that are worried about their jobs and their money. And I feel bad for people that are old. I'm old, but I'm not that old. I plan on working another, until I drop dead. Gavin Newsom asked the Trump administration to bring a gay makeup artist. Is this real? Oh, yeah, it's real. Bring a gay makeup artist who was deported and jailed back to the United States. He left Venezuela and sought asylum. Yeah, because they probably wanted to kill him over there. To escape persecution for being gay, no criminal record. So again, they're sending these people to these prisons, these Salvadorian prisons with no records. Bring them back. Just, what do you mean? Well, we don't know where they are. That's what they're saying. That is really disgusting. He's got a tattoo. They send him. Can you imagine gay people out there? That's a gay makeup artist. He's not going to last long. His butt's going to be very sore. Gavin said, we're not a nation that sends people to be tortured and victimized in a foreign prison for public relations. Well, obviously we are. I mean, he wrote this to Kristi Noem. Does he expect the dog killer to have any kind of sympathy? I don't get it. So, according to Bloomberg, 90% of migrants deported to El Salvador prison have no criminal record. 90%? This stuff makes me a liberal. I'm sorry. It makes me a conservative. A conservative. I could never be a freaking conservative. Unless you were like Anna Navarro or Alyssa Farah Griffin. There's normal people that I talk to. There's people off the edge, but of course the liberals are kind of, AOC, I don't really agree with. Bernie Sanders, I'm not a socialist. I'm not like that. I believe you can make as much money as you want. Don't be so damn greedy, though. When you get to a certain point, like Musk, instead of buying elections, he should do nice things. Give to St. Jude's, those poor little kids that are dying of cancer. New research suggests it may take up to 8 years to get over an ex. I'll be dead in 8 years. Are you crazy or what? It takes me a long time to get over someone. I kind of mull and get depressed. Not depressed, but just I kind of like to torture myself a little bit. I read a long time ago that it depends on how long you date somebody. If you date someone like 4 years, it'll take like half as long. So 2 years. That's why I try not to go over 2 years. I don't want any more. I'm enough. I don't want to be depressed. Who wants to, this is funny because Chris Rock used to say this. You're either going to be alone and lonely or with somebody and be bored. What do I want? But you're not necessarily lonely if you're alone. And I see a lot of lonely people that are in relationships. March 2025, published in Social, Psychological, and Personality Science. So they only studied 800 people. They didn't ask me. They said attachments were dissolved after four years. Oh, it takes me a while. I don't know. 2 factors. Attachment style, which is me. I'm very attached. I get into people pretty quickly, and it takes a long time for me to get unattached, like a drug addict. 2, continued contact. Yeah, you know what? No way. When I break up with someone, I do not keep. I'm not enemies with any of my exes, but I don't talk to them because it's like, especially lesbians. You see this all the time where they have the exes hanging around. It's not normal, I think it is like a drug. When you're with somebody, you get happy when they're around and that dopamine goes off in your brain. So if you stop doing the drugs and you stop being with them, you feel depressed or that you want the fix, I don't know. I think of the song Love Stinks by Jay Giles. A reporter asked Trump if he'd be willing to take Americans to prisons, Americans in prisons, and put them in El Salvadorian prisons. And he said, yeah, I'd like to take the people that push people on the subway. We can't do this stuff. I'm just telling you. He just reminds me of like Fidel Castro or something. I get it. I'm not saying I don't think, oh yeah, he's right. Let's put the worst criminals under the worst circumstances. I get it. But I don't think so. They got 80 prisoners in one cell with 2 toilets. I need my own bathroom. Are you kidding me? Plus they have to sleep with the lights on. I need the TV. Do they have a TV? They probably all don't want to watch the same thing. But I have to have a TV on, then I put the sleep button on. I can't deal with black of night. I can't deal with it all black. Trump has a new word, panican. Don't be a panican. Like panic that you're losing $50,000 in your Roth. I don't think so. Okay, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Reunion part 2, quickly. Kyle's healing purple crystal that she was holding kept falling out of her hands, so that's not a good sign. Someone told me at work that this is... Someone told me this is like bad and going to invite bad health to me and I said, someone told me this was good luck and that they were protecting me. She said, the person who told you that was a witch. And you know what? This person was right because this person was like a psychic. So I guess you call him a witch. I don't know. But she's like, you got to take this and bury it. I'm like, what do you mean bury it? I like the color of this thing. I'm not thinking anything. She's like, do you have health issues? I'm like, yeah. Maybe before my colonoscopy, I'll put it in the ground. Okay. She argued with Dorit about texting with PK, breaking girl code. Tilly gets on the couch and talks about how real the show is. First they do the glam and then they scream to death. She went on to say some people have a drug dealer. She has a bag dealer. I love Jennifer Tilly. Louis Vuitton and Hermes. For any thinking of a home invasion, she keeps her jewels. I can't talk. She keeps her jewels in the bank. Oh my God. Am I okay? In the bank in a safety deposit box. Yeah, because you advertise, you got all that stuff. I'm telling you, it's like, that's what they're doing now. They're going to sports people and they're breaking in and they're not getting caught, She didn't think PK could afford to stay at the Beverly Hills Hotel. This is what Jay Tilly said. It's $25,000 a night. It's $25,000 a night. Then she whispers, do you think Sutton's on some anxiety medication? Because Sutton didn't say anything. And then, we'll get to that, but Dorit got her going. Kathy Hilton came on and explained she's Chinese. She said in Venice, Italy, she said she's part Northern Italian, and a lady she spoke to said she's part Asian. She looked it up on her phone. Okay. 3,000 years ago. Okay. So she's Chinese. Kyle's ex Mauricio. She said Kyle's ex Mauricio looked like Kyle's father. According to the Daily Mail, Kathy and Kyle's sister Kim has been placed on psychiatric hold due to substance abuse relapse. She's had problems for a long time. She moved to Florida. Yeah, that's going to help. Move to Florida. At the end, Dorit was baiting Sutton, saying, where's the woman? The beady-eyed stare. She didn't come today? Come out to play, like the Warriors. Where is she? She's saying. And then Sutton goes, where's the person that calls everybody the C word? This is hysterical when they go at it. When they were going at it, Jennifer Tilly started crunching on crackers. Too funny. And then Dorit says, you don't exactly live like the Queen of Sheba. You live on an effing main road, which was probably the worst diss ever. Elizabeth Moss thought that was pretty funny. She was on Watch What Happens Live. Down on Main Street. Then Dorit said she buys people, which Sutton, I mean, either that or she's generous. I don't know. Erica smiled with her mouth agape. Sutton said, who have I tried to buy, honey? And then Dorit's like, here she comes. Here she comes. And then Tilly's like, this is so awful. It is awful, but it's like, in the 90s or the 80s, we watched Dynasty. Next week, Kathy tells her children or someone in the family may be a lesbian. Maybe a lesbian, you're not sure? So she wanted to make Kyle feel good, and then Garcelle storms off the set and quits. PK posted after the reunion, it's better to admit you walked through the wrong door than to spend your life in the wrong room. One thing, because Easter's next Sunday, I don't know whether or not I'm going to do a show. I'll try, but my family's coming up and I'm going to be a little wacky. Archaeologists excavated the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. I can't believe I pronounced that right. Discovered proof of an ancient garden consistent with biblical scripture in Jerusalem, where Jesus was crucified and buried. Found ancient olive trees and grapevines dating back to 2,000 years, when Jesus was hanging. The Bible verse goes, John 19:41. Now, in the place where he was crucified, there was a garden. Well, I mean, okay. And in the garden, a new tomb in which no one had yet been laid. That was Francesca Stasola, archaeology professor at the Sapienza University of Rome, confirmed this to Fox News. I read it in the New York Post. Okay, guys. I've already gone beyond what I can do. Love you. Going on my bike because it's not 32 degrees. This is why we're all crazy in New England. 32 degrees 2 days ago. Now it's going to be like close to 70. Okay. Happy Easter if I don't talk to you. Bye.